Okay. Hey, recording is in progress. Welcome to
Heyo.
another episode of Tattoos and Toddlers. I have such a very special guest today who I met through many avenues, and her name is Jacqui. But me, Jen, here, I am a wedding photographer with Weirdo Weddings, and I'm a business owner, but I'm also a mom to a young child. And this podcast is all about juggling life scenarios and parenting and a little twist of tattoo stories, which I know Jacqui meets all of those qualifications. So I cannot wait to talk to Jacqui about
Yay.
this today. Jacqui, go ahead and introduce yourself briefly.
Hello, I'm Jackie. I am a Pilates instructor. I am a mom of two kids. They're only 14 months apart. Whoops. But yeah, my husband's in the military, so we have a fun little military family going on. And yeah, I have
Yeah,
a dog.
so I was gonna say, like you're juggling a lot. And when I first met you in the period of life where he was gone, right? Like he was
Yeah.
on assignment and I witnessed you doing a lot of things with your kids that I really appreciated. You were it seems like you were like having a lot of quality time with them. I believe you even did a photo shoot with them.
Yeah.
How do you find in your personal experience juggling the things that still keep it fun but that also like let us in on some of the hard times with having two small children with your husband away?
So he was gone and they were 4 and 3.
Gosh.
So I put my oldest, he's my son, in like a pre-K type thing. So that way he kind of got his time away from us and got to learn. And then my daughter just kind of hung out with me all the time, which was fine. But then she was also very sad. She was like, I miss my dad. I miss my brother. Like, what is going on? And I was like, it's fine. We're just going to spend a whole bunch of quality time together. Um, and then when my husband came back, it was the midst of 2020. And so we were just all stuck inside. And so trying to figure out how to readjust to married life, parent life, and readjusting that way. It was a fun little ride, let me tell you.
I think I can speak also to that as well. Like, my husband moved into my office and never left. And so
Yeah, we're just here all the time now
we're
together.
just here all the
Fine.
time.
It's
You
fine.
know, and that season of our lives was very hard with smaller children and trying to think of things to do and now that we've kind of come through that particular year, do you feel that we'll be able to talk to our children about this kind of stuff as they keep
Yeah.
growing older and older? They'll remember some of
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I know your
Yeah.
kids are just a little bit even older than mine. I think isn't your youngest like 6 months older than mine? I can't remember, but
I think so. Yeah. Because
so
her birthday
it's
was
yeah, and
December.
it's like I remember all these families going through their own challenges during that year. Um, so is there a few things that you learned as we'll just say that part of your life, the single parenthood life, that you could share
Mhm.
with our listeners today that kept you going? What kept you motivated? I know sometimes we forget that we have emotions and we just kind of power through, but I was wondering if we could take it back just for a second on what things that you feel like you did great during that season of your life that you felt in some ways a little happy, but like I know it's kind of sad because your partner's not there, but
Yeah.
some things
Um,
that you got involved in or some things that you did for yourself and for your kids.
so I think like just spending quality time together, like really being like a trio.
Mm,
Like it was me, my husband, or my son, my daughter, and like it was just us. So we had to like figure out our new dynamic,
yeah.
um, and kind of just going on trips. Like even though it was really rough some days because one kid wants to listen, one kid doesn't want to listen, one kid can do something, other kid can't do something. So there was always that struggle of trying to like balance, okay, if we do this, we can't punish both of them, but we also can't reward both of them if
Oh no.
somebody's being mean. Like it was just a really fun little time of juggling, trying to be a consistent parent with
Yeah.
like discipline, but also being like lenient in a way just because you have to find that balance of there's only three of us. If like one kid gets in trouble now, we can be like, okay, you have to stay home. Other sibling that's behaving can go do something kind of fun. Um, but when
Wow.
that wasn't available, it was just kind of like a, okay, well, you misbehaved, so you kind of don't get to participate, but you also get to come along. Sorry.
And I was gonna say that being that they were so close in age, that had to be a little difficult.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
little.
Like having two under two, because I mean, my son was a year, 14 months old whenever my daughter entered the world. So, like, I don't remember. It's like a blur of
Yeah.
for all the things. And
Yeah.
then, like, yeah, postpartum depression, anxiety, all of the things just kind of like hit. And then now it's fine because they're older. But I feel like I'm always just in the constant, like, learning how to deal with my son being older and then my daughter following right behind in like that same step. So it's like potty training boy, potty training girl, tying shoes, losing teeth. Like that's a
Oh my gosh,
whole,
I'm so like we're almost there.
it's like such a budget anymore.
It's such a creepy scan too. I saw the scan recently. I took her last week or the week before, and I thought of you because you always take your kids to this cute little place to get their haircut, and they're little cars and little things
Oh
that they
yeah,
can sit in. It's the cutest thing. And I went to the dentist and I was like, dang, this is a fun place. They
right?
have like a playground, practically a playground, and movies
Yeah.
of their own choice. And I saw the scan of her teeth coming in on the bottom, underneath the baby teeth, and I'm like,
Hmm.
I kind of want to ask them for the photo because I'm that weird because I want to make art out of it. But it's like this weird dynamic of nothing has come out of her face yet, but I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. Like my kids will lose teeth like back to back. So
Oh
it'll
my
be like my
gosh.
son will lose a tooth, my daughter will lose a tooth. Like everybody just kind of is losing teeth. And then I have to remember, of course, to like get the tooth, which freaks me out. I hate teeth. Baby teeth are the weirdest little thing. Like,
Yeah,
why
I
do we?
kept mine for a while, by the way. That was kind of weird too. Like I kept mine.
I think my mom just kept like my first one, but we have all of them
Oh my
still.
God. Oh my God.
Yeah. Um, but
Oh
we
my
actually like
gosh.
missed my son's first loose, like his first tooth that he lost. He lost it when he was in kindergarten at school.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like he was like, my tooth is super wiggly. And I was like, cool, if you lose it, like keep it because, tooth fairy. And then he
Oh
came
my.
home and he smiled and I
He's
was
like,
like, is your tooth gone? And he was like, oh yeah. And I was like, where is it? And he was like, I don't know. I was like, what do you mean? And then so we had to write a letter to the tooth fairy to be like, sorry, I lost it at
oh my
school.
gosh, that is so funny. That's adorable. Like this stage of life. This is the stage of life that I like that you're a little ahead of me. So when I hear these stories,
You
I'm
can like
thinking
prepare.
about our own stories that we're going to have.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so going back to um the dynamic of now, you've moved into being a Pilates instructor, correct? Like I'm
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
just now finding this out because we haven't caught up in forever. And this is what I do,
I
y'all.
know.
This is our life, okay? We show up to this podcast, we have no idea what's going to happen, which I think is
Yeah.
great. I just know that I know Jacqui enough to know that she's a fun person. So tell me how that has, is it something that you enjoy and you can call your own kind of a thing? Like this is what I do, this is something I'm passionate about. Tell me a little bit about what led you to being a Pilates instructor.
Yeah. So I used to dance in like high school. I did ballet, hip hop, jazz, all the things. I was in drill team in high school. So like I had the little hat and the like boots and sparkly
You
outfit.
don't see me dancing over here, y'all. Y'all are listening to the podcast and I'm just dancing.
But that was a fun like juxtaposition of like me being like a millennial emo kid. So like I had
Yeah,
like this swoopy hair and
of course
it
you
was
did.
fun. Yeah, and I wore like black all the time except whenever I had to be super school spirity. Um, fun. But so I would always kind of dance, and then Pilates kind of goes hand in hand with dancing because Joseph Pilates basically had his first studio above a ballet studio in New York. So um, found Pilates after the pandemic, once the studio kind of reopens and all of that stuff. I was a member for about a year before I finally decided, like, hey, I think I kind of can do something with my like time because my kids were transitioning into like having a schedule with school.
Yeah.
So um, I decided that I might as well just do something and get out of the house and have adult conversations. And I kind of get to boss people around. So it's kind of like being a mom, but they also have to listen to me. So it's like a good little like
Oh my
listening.
gosh. I love y'all are missing Jackie's face when she says this, but you have to listen to me. And I love it. I love it.
Do. I mean,
It is
kids
a
don't
place of
listen.
authority. It is a place of
Yeah.
authority when you're in that. And I love being bossed around when, especially in the fitness space. Like I just finished a
Yeah.
workout like a few minutes ago, right before our talk, because I was like, if I don't do it now, it's not going to get done. And walking in the
Yeah.
woods is not enough of a workout for me. I need some weights and whatever. So I went and turned on a video and had them boss me
Yep.
around for 33 minutes. And then I came back to sit with you.
That's all you need. I mean,
Yeah, it feels good. Like I'll get up, I'll hurt a little bit later because my legs get stiff really quickly, but otherwise.
you
And then
should foam roll.
oh yeah,
Foam
I
roll
probably should because they're already
or stretching.
yeah. I
You
did
can come to
stretch
a Pilates
a
class.
touch. Yeah. So I want to also get into one of your tattoo stories because I don't want to run out of time before I hear a story about one of your tattoos. I think you said it was your first tattoo that you want to talk
So
about?
my first tattoo is a giant cover up. It's
What,
like
wait, a cover up.
yeah, so I actually got my ribs tattooed and it was supposed to be a dragon and it was just not very cute. So I had to get it covered up and and so now I have a giant dragon head on my side, instead of like a cute little like Japanese style dragon.
And
It's
I was
just a
like,
giant head.
I was going to say, where did the inspiration come from getting that tattoo? And if that was the first one was the one that didn't turn out right, right?
Mhm.
Then the cover up was like the second. And I know I've had a cover up done too, and like a cover up, it's literally like getting another tattoo.
Yeah,
Let's just be honest.
yeah.
But what was the inspiration that you chose that one in particular?
Um, so I'm Japanese because you guys can't see me. But I'm also adopted, so it was kind of like a good way to connect with like the folklore of
Yeah,
Japanese culture. So
yeah.
like dragons are for protection. They have to travel through, they are koi fish, and then they have to travel up the stream, and then they turn into a dragon if they make it all the way up.
Mm.
And so kind of just a fun little journey of life and protection.
And so that one started out, it was supposed to be, was it a full body dragon?
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a big, like swoopy, pretty cloud,
Would be pretty. Okay.
like,
And then
and now he's
the
just a
cover up is just
giant,
a head.
yeah, just a giant dragon head. I mean, he's cool looking,
Yeah.
and part of the original tattoo is part of his, like, he has a scroll in his mouth. So, like,
Okay.
the dragon head and a claw is in the scroll that he has in his mouth. But yeah, he's just a giant head now.
Did you co-design the cover up one, or is it you just let the tattoo artist run with it?
Yeah, I just let him do whatever. So he just kind of was like, if we have to cover this whole thing up, because I mean, like, it was my whole rib cage. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so he was like, we are gonna have to like cover this thing and then make it bigger so that way it's even more covered because you can't just cover like the little thing. You have to make it bigger so that way you can not see any part of the original
And I
original.
hear that that's one of the most challenging places to get a tattoo. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, I
As in
have my feet
painful?
tattooed. Yeah. I mean, it's bone and
Hmm.
I'm on the smaller side, so it's just like bone and needles and fun.
How was that? Well, first of all, you went through the first experience and then you're going through the second experience, like
Yeah.
knowing what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
What was the hours on that thing? Like, it was it hours, like 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours?
I think total
Did you do it in
was probably,
stages?
oh yeah, like we outlined it and shaded some of it, and then I tapped out, I think after like 6 hours.
Oof.
I had to go back. We finished shading and color. That was probably another 6 hours. So I have at least like 12 hours just on that one. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, I have my other side of my rib cage done. I have my thighs done, front and back. I have my feet done. I
I
haven't had
love that
anything
you have
other
you
tattoos.
have very strategic places that you've put yours. And when I was
Yeah,
starting to share my story, is that most of mine are on my backside. I can't see any of them.
yeah, yeah.
Until I got my newest one, which is, very visible.
Nice.
It's very
Yay.
hard to twist my arm to show people.
Just go like this.
But then it's like upside down, and I'm like, these webcams do not give it any glory. So, um, yeah. So is there any reason why, or is there another tattoo that has a special meaning or story behind it that you want to share with us as we start to close out our little chat here?
Let's see.
Like,
So,
is there something that you designed? Did you design any of yours?
no,
You
I'm
just picked
not
it off the
very
wall?
artsy. I mean, we kind of went like my suit is like Japanese themed, so it's like it has the traditional black shading and the winds and the waves and all that stuff. But I do have one that she was a guest artist back at my old tattoo studio, and it was her name's Shanghai Kate.
Oh,
Um, and she actually was apprenticed under Sailor Jerry. Like she's one of the first female tattooers
wow.
ever. And so she
That's
tattooed me.
amazing.
Yeah, she was like a guest artist, and I had to go back 2 days in a row. So like she outlined it, did some stuff, and then I had to go back the next day to like finish it out because it's like my whole back of my calf.
Oh my
But
gosh.
so that was real fun to get tattooed 2 days in a row, but it
Yeah,
was
I
worth
can only
it.
imagine the healing process was for any, well, let's just be honest. If you've never had a tattoo, then you don't understand the healing process. But I'm thinking to myself, how did you, yeah, going back 2 days in a row and then adding on to
Mhm.
an already mad area.
Oh yeah, it was so swollen, and I was like,
My
I
God.
don't know. But thankfully, she had like some of that like numbing spray, kind of like
Yeah,
it
I guess
kind of took
that
like
kind of helps.
it took the edge off, but it was still not a great fun experience.
No, and then now you
But
have it, and so you don't have to do, now once
yeah,
it's healed and you just, it's there.
yeah,
And
now it just lives.
yeah, it lives. It breathes on your skin. I had another question and it left my head, and that's another topic we'll be discussing this next week is mom brain.
Brain.
Because yeah.
You know, I left my cell phone in my refrigerator once because mom brain. So
Oh my gosh. I think I tried to pour something and I definitely put weird things into the fridge. I know I've done
yeah.
that. And I know I tried to pour something into maybe a cup that was really old at one point, and I was like, kind of like pouring new coffee onto old coffee. It just doesn't,
Yeah.
especially if it's like 2 day old coffee.
Not the best.
It's not the best. Um, oh man, the question did not come back to my head, but I love the fact that you have something that I hadn't heard yet, and that's like a really cool artist that did your tattoo.
Yeah.
My first two tattoos was done by some burly guy up in Kansas because it was illegal in Oklahoma. And so that I picked him off the wall as well. Like I just picked him off the
Nice.
wall. And then I do have to say this newest one, I was hands-on gathering inspiration for months before I walked into the studio and said, "Will you co-create with me?"
Nice. Yeah.
So, that's I was literally getting the download in my head as I'm driving to the tattoo parlor. So it was fantastic to just kind of, and everybody's like, "Are you sure that was safe?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was doodling him at stoplights, okay?
It was fine. I was stopped.
It's fine."
It's fine.
But
We can multitask anyways. Like we're moms. We multitask all the time. So it's
yeah,
fine.
I've
Fine.
also realized I'd love to think I can multitask. I think these days I can't do it as well. There's some things I cannot multitask. You cannot have a conversation with me and I can't send an email at the same time Because that's
Uh,
trying to have two conversations and that, yeah.
yeah.
If I pull it
You
out of
type
my
the wrong
head,
words.
if my head is working on something and I'm in focus mode, if you try to interrupt me, it takes me forever to get back. And I've only realized this in the last year or two. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. But I'm just like, okay, now I just tell my husband, he's like, well, you're not listening to me. And I was like, I can't hear you. I'm literally focused.
Hold on. Yeah.
Just give me a minute. I'll bring the
Yeah.
thoughts back and I'll bring it back from the back of the head to the front of the head. So I can
Can't do it.
find it. Well, Jacqui, I just want to thank you so much for coming on today. It's been fun for my audience to get to know you a little bit, knowing that you've
Yeah.
had this very interesting background of this mixture of not only being adopted, you've got military family things going on, you've got a gazillion tattoos all over your body. Oh, that was my question is, do you find that in your personality aspect,
Yeah.
do a lot of us don't care to be asked about our tattoos very often. We don't feel it's an attention thing. It's more of a connection with yourself versus trying to connect with other
Yeah.
people. Do you find that to be true with your personality?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm an introvert by nature, so I don't like random people talking to me anyway. And then that's fun because I mean, I have bright rainbow hair. Um, and
This is
most
what
of the
we
time
have
you're,
in common. We have
yeah.
dualistic things to our personality that
Mm.
I'm like, I don't really want to talk to you, but doggone it, I look so cute. You have to say something to me. So
Yeah. Right. Um, but yeah, so most of the time you can't even see my tattoos because like I have my ribs done, I have my legs done,
yeah, you can't
nothing's on
see.
my arms. So unless I'm in like shorts or you see me like in a bathing suit, you would never know.
Yeah.
So like
Which is why
keeping
this
full
is my most
bodies.
visible one. Like my most visible
Yeah.
one, it could be a conversation starter. And I was like, I had to like mentally prepare myself for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
But
people will be like, what do your feet say? And I'm like,
I,
oh man.
you're like, man, I don't want to tell you.
I was like, can you just read it? It's fine.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute though, because I know I feel that a lot, and I feel like there's a lot of people that are just like you and can relate to that. Of we just want to do our body art and our crazy hair, and we don't
Yeah.
necessarily always need to talk about it.
Yeah.
But sometimes I desire that connection. So when I can connect with Jacqui on the hair and the tattoos now, like it's not like our introvertedness goes away. We just have a
Yeah.
conversation. But I think it's the initial contact that we're just like,
Yeah.
I don't really
Eh, I don't like small talk. I don't know what to talk about.
know.
The sky is blue. Cool.
Which is great because I preface this with you'll have plenty to talk about on today's talk because you have so much that you've already lived and you're still a youngling. So we have tons of things to live yet that I know that we'll both enjoy at some point because our kids are growing up fast and the momming never stops.
Never. Just gets different.
That's what I keep hearing and now I'm experiencing it. And when somebody says
Yeah.
that to me, and for those that of y'all that have even younger kids than my 6-year-old, it's consistently different. And then I'm consistently going back to when I was that age too. Like I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it's not even about the culture now. It's about what was I experiencing at this age? Oh yeah, teeth were falling out. Cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And
It's fine.
it's fine. It's good. Whatever.
Who needs tea? Not us.
And then the whole school thing. So now we're thinking about school and what they're
Yeah.
about to be learning or what they're already learning. And the simple things that I don't think about because I haven't had to do it for 40 years, like
Yeah.
yeah, oh God, I did learn how to read, didn't I? Oh, at some
Yeah.
point I learned how to read.
Eventually. Um, and like my daughter, she learns how to do like the monkey bars this year, and she's like so proud of herself.
Aw.
But she also broke her arm trying to like learn how to do the monkey bars, so that was fun.
Oh
And
my gosh. Well, I do have to say it's been a pleasure to have you on. They're giving me the note of running out of time, so which is
womp
fine.
womp.
Which is fine because I don't have to be on here all day long. We're going to go introvert back ourselves into a quiet
Yeah.
corner until our kids come home.
Yep.
Well, Jacqui, thank you again for coming on. It's so good to see you. And then the next time we chat, hopefully it'll be in person at some point.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's been
You're
fun.
welcome. All right, I'm going to sign off this recording. I will see y'all on the next episode of Tattoos and Toddlers.